traction. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor. Turn that giddy button to a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen. I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's blow this town, break the speed of sound. Tonight we own the road. Dream machine, racing queen. You make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen. You make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red light on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen. You make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen. You make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen. You make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red light on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen. You make my heart beat. You make my heart beat.
There you go. Sorry, the mic was set to the wrong audio device. Thanks, Windows. Good evening, everyone. It's the Mayor South Africa. I'm Ryan Hill with you in the booth. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope you're well. This is the simClioCup series. Of course, it's the Renault Clio Cup 5 with Assetto Corsa on PC. And we are back with round 3 of 5. It's a double header again tonight. We've got back-to-back 20-minute races, where the second race is going to be a reverse grid. And we're about to head onto circuit now. We are, from the footage in the background, you can see some historic footage. We are on an old circuit, no longer raced today. called Bridgehampton. It was a track located near Sag Harbor in New York in the United States of America. First opened in 1957 and had a bunch of road races from there. And then it was also one of the very permanent road racing venues that held a bunch of things, including NASCAR, Trans Am, I think some other random stock car racing as well, Grand Nationals and so on. And then from the 1970s, mostly amateur events, all the way up until the track finally came to a permanent closure in 1999. And yeah, as can be seen from some of the footage in the background, a lot of sand, which is renowned as quite a fearsome course, and really demanded the utmost of driver skill. A couple of lap records. We'll look at what the Renault Clio guys were doing, but just back in the day, I think the fastest lap record ever held was in a Group 7 Can-Am piloted by Denny Hulme, and he clocked in a 126.64. I think guys today out there in the Clios are going to be doing somewhere around 1 minute 43s for the quickest of laps, up until 145, 146 to sort of still be competitive in the race tonight. But yeah, so you can see I don't know the circuit too well myself, but the corner names are up on the board now. I will get to a little lap guide that's been put together by one of our admins and drivers in the series, Nick Hodson. He's always at the sharp end of the field, so I'll jump to that in a little bit. Just looking forward to the weather forecast for tonight's races as well. It's heavy cloud conditions, so the simulated track grip is actually starting off quite low, a start value of 90, which is quite low if you're not aware of how a set of course grip value starts. The transferred grip is 75, that is between sessions, and 50 laps to improve the grip. Now what that essentially means is that 50 laps need to be driven on the course for the track to improve essentially 1 point up from 90, but that 50 laps can be done by all of the drivers, so it's essentially cumulative. There will be a randomness of 2 to that as well, so it could swing either way, 2 up or 2 down. Wind is kind of negligible. Base temperature is about 26 degrees with some variation in its road temperature. There's also a little 3 degrees above the ambient temperature, again with some variation in there as well. So we've calculated the road temperature today to be between 27 and 31 degrees Celsius. Once we cut over to the server, we'll be able to see exactly what's been spooled up for us today. As I mentioned earlier, this is round 3 out of 5, so we can have a quick look at the championship standings that I've snapshotted there before. Nick Hodson, for the broadcast now, of course, Nick Hodson topping the tables with 93 points, and Kyle Matthews sitting in spot P2 with 57, and Ross Bartle rounding up the top 3 so far with 50 points. None of those drivers have taken a skip yet. We've allowed essentially all the drivers to take 1 skip round or drop round, and essentially we're going to be taking the top results out of all the total races at the end of the season. HLQ times, so we didn't really do an hot lap qualifying, so this is really just going to be showing you what some of the guys were doing on the practice server in the couple of weeks leading up to this event. Nick Hodson yet again taking top honors of the 143.639, and we see across the field Dan Haynes at the bottom end of practice there was clocking in a 153. I'm not sure how many laps he did, it's not reflecting the counts here, but we can expect drivers to be clocking anywhere between those amounts of laps here. And with that, we are going to be going over to Nick's hot lap and to see how he got on with that 143.63. So here we are with Nick.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the simClioCup here at SimRace SA for the 2024.2A season. We are at Bridgehampton for round 3 and going onto our start we are looking for a good exit on the last corner. Extremely crucial to carry your speed. In fact, around this whole track, it is extremely crucial to carry your speed through a lot of these corners, which often means braking a little bit early, a little bit soft, and getting the Clio turned in nicely. Turn 1, however, brave pills as we go down the hill. Turn 1, turn 2, little bit of a lift, clip that inside, and absolutely flat chat, and then on the brake hard. Nice and early turn in for turn 3 on the power again, carrying the speed. This is where you will find lap time here at Bridgehampton. That and staying out of the sand. Now braking just by that light concrete. Turn 4. You'll notice I keep the car very tight here, even on the exit, just making the run up to the top of this left-hander where you flick the car in, try and hit that cone, but miss the gravel on both the inside and the outside. Very, very hard to do. And we go up and over the hill in 4th, still carrying as much speed as we possibly can all the way through the valley of the lefts. Turn 7, turn 8, and then just braking a little early down to 4th, getting the car settled, flinging it through turn 9, and then on the brakes hard here for turn 10. Car getting very squirrely, wants to brake out on us, don't allow it, and then cut back hard so you can maintain full throttle in 3rd gear as you exit the corner. 4th gear coming up the hill. This little turn isn't really a turn 12, but turn 13 absolutely critical. Fling that car in, look for those little almost tires on the inside, power the car across and up the hill into 5th gear under the bridge, looking for the line now, and we do a 143.6.
Alrighty, we are back. I'm just going to quickly double check we have some audio from the game as we're on the helicopter cam. It should be coming through as soon as I cut to the TV cameras. Let's have a look. Here we go. Yeah, here's some game sound. So thanks very much for everyone. That was Nick Hodgson taking us through the hot laps. We see Sas van Vesters and getting very squiggly and sideways in the background. We are in the dying seconds of free practice, as we can see in the clock in the top middle of your screen. We're going to be cutting over to qualifying in a short moment. Qualifying is going to be 10 minutes, and drivers will have that much time to essentially put in their best laps. I can see Ross Bartle currently doing the fastest in practice, but practice don't really mean too much. And then we'll be heading into our 2 double-header 20-minute races. Another quick shout out, obviously, to everyone joining in on stream. Thanks very much for supporting us. Also, a quick shout out to some of our sponsors, some of the new sponsors you'll see on screen as well. We've got Hydro Rubber waterproof coating there in the bottom left, helping sponsor some of our increased server capacity over the last couple of weeks and going forward. So thank them very much for that indeed. Also to all of the drivers that have providing some fuel and helping us keep going. That's a lovely shot of all the black Awesome Sports Clios, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 odd that I can see lined up there as we tick over into quali. The orange BMW there you see on the pit lane grid is essentially just myself in the camera car. And we will be cutting over to quali in just a second. Look at the full force Black Awesome Sports all in a row here. It looks like we have Nick Hodson, followed by Ross Bottle, Sas van der Vesses and Brett Krokam, Roxanne Bottle, and alongside we have Martin Groenewold. They're out in force, trying to get some nice drafts. I really love the scenery of this track. You can see the sandbanks are essentially dangerously looming on the sides there. Drivers don't dare put a wheel into the grass/sand here. You will lose traction, you will lose a lot of time. No risk of gaining any sort of advantages with the track cuts out there tonight. Just having a quick look up the field as well. We can say a check rather of who else is out there on track. Ryan Ludick out there in his pink and white GM Sport livery. The Renault. We've got Melvin Coase. I think, yeah, he's reporting on the tower here, but I don't believe he's coming in tonight. I believe he is unable to make it. Willem Emmelman out there in the Castrol, green and red and white. Castrol livery out there for Milan Competition. Hannes Kruger out there, also not reporting on track actually. I'm not sure if we've got... never mind, there we go, on board with Hannes Kruger. See, he is indeed out there. GPA Racing reported. Thomas Trollope also out there, coming past us right over there on the overhead camera. Peter Caldenes, nice to see you on Pete Out AST Competition, is the blue, white and orange livery. We've already said hello to Roxanne Bartlett for Black Awesome Sports. Mikhail Matthews is the current P2 sitter in the standings. Very easy to spot Mikhail's car. He's the only red, with a little bit of black and orange accented car out there on track. Keep a good eye out for him. He's got a lot of pace. I'll be looking to take it to the Black Awesome Sports races tonight. Francois Bernardi is also out there in his black and white livery. Daniel Haynes, nice to see Dan Haynes out there in his silverish white with a little bit of yellow accents as he goes, I want to say farming, but it's more like just reversing out the way there. A little bit of a sand accumulation. Of course, the Black House Sim Sports chaps, there comes Sas van der Vestes and Camp here as well. And see a lot of the leaderboard tower shuffling up right now. Ryan Ludwig actually banked a very fast lap. Provisional front row with a 146.51, but that's still half a second slower than Nick Hudson right now. And we, as we can see from the hot lap guide earlier in the evening, Nick certainly knows how to pedal it into the 143s. Obviously his hot lap practice conditions may be slightly different weather, and I'm certain grip levels as well. Just remember, ladies and gents, that the grip level is starting off very low. You can see in the top right hand corner of your screen what it is reflecting is currently. It would have started off at about 90 or 91%. There was a 1% variation in it. It's currently reporting as green, 92%. I think it's going to tick over to fast when it hits. It's either 95 or between 95 and 97%. So it's a long way to go to get that improvement. But you must remember that we have qualifying. We've got then a race 1 session and a race 2 session, and between every single session the grip levels will carry over 75% of it, that is. So it'll incrementally get a little bit faster throughout the evening, and I think we're going to continue therefore to see those lap times tumble. But for the meantime, drivers will need to cope with the conditions and manage their tires. And there's about 4.5 minutes left of this quali session, and we were wondering here if anyone can take it to Nick Hudson to dethrone him. Brett Crocamp has meanwhile just put his car onto the front row of the grid, dethroning Ryan Ludwig from that provisional P2 position for the time being with a very quick 146.14. As he goes extremely wide, he might just be trying to keep out of the way of actually no, sorry, that was Sas van der Vestes and bailing out of the way of Brett Crocamp, just trying to not impede his fellow teammates' quick lap. As we can see in the foreground, yet another Black House Sim Sports driver coming through. Willem Immelman, I've seen just shuffle someone out to promote himself up into P10. Mikhail Matthews there in the foreground, you're seeing, is currently sitting in P4. Just seen Dan Haynes pop himself up into P10 as well, dethroning Willem Emmelson. So there's a little bit of a fight going on here down the middle order section. We must remember that the top 10 slots are quite coveted, as Thomas Trollope does well just to not impede Dan Haynes coming through on his quick lap, because the second race of tonight is a reverse grid race where the top 10 are reversed. So you can see the 15 odd other drivers. There's going to be essentially 5 drivers at the bottom of the field are not going to be reversed. So very much a coveted spot, that top 10 position, and everything helps during qualifying. It's quite important. Being a short sprint race, there's not a lot of time to make up positions, so qualifying is very important at this particular stage of the race. Hop around and see if we can find someone that may be out there on a positive delta. Sas van der Vestes has, however, just started his lap, so he's going to be pedaling his way through. We're actually going to hit on board with him quickly and see how he's doing with his input. I can, there we go, flick to the dash cam, or looking over the passenger seat almost from the rear. Over the shoulder, got the little sequential shifter there, down through the gears to third, tries to maintain as much speed as possible through Echo Valley corner, into turn 5 now, little left just to keep it within the track limits. You really don't want to dip a wheel past that, because then you're into the sand and you're just going to bleed off so much speed. Turn 7, Valley of the Lefts, and this is so cool. You'll see turn 7, turn 8, turn 9, that's just left, 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 left. Still try and not bleed off much speed. Into the right hand turn. 10-11 is also known as the light bulb. Currently in P5 SAS, he's looking to make up at least 0.3 of a second if he wants to challenge P4 of Mikhail Matthews. It seems quite distant at this stage. And for some reason, it's actually reflecting he was on an outlap. I could have sworn it looked like he'd started his flying lap here. Just bailing out of the way. I think that was Thomas Trollope up to the side. Under the bridge, we're at turn 1. So this is now his flying lap. You can immediately see that his delta is 0.15 in the red. So not the bestest of start. You know, it's all when you spun it. Up he goes into the Feinbush. See how difficult it is to maintain a quick lap here. It's all about hooking up the final corners as well, so that you can maintain as much pace as possible down that straight and earn a few extra kilometers per hour, so that you can start off with a bang. The dying seconds here. Nick Hodson looks like his pole position is safe. Brett Krukamp is in the pits. He's not out there again. Ryan Ludick is reflecting a green delta here, and he's got a while to go around the circuit still. So we'll see if he can bank this lap without making any mistakes. And he doesn't need to improve much to take that front row position away from Brett Krukamp. It looks like he needs to improve by about 0.2 or just under of a second. And that's certainly doable if he maintains this green delta. Fine numbers aren't reflecting exactly what's happening. Oh, as we say that. Okay, that's Ross Bartle in P4 and Mikhail Matthews P5. Ross Bartle's just across the line now. Mikhail Matthews is still out there. We're going to have a quick look. He is up on his delta plus 0.07. Oh, as I say that, he has a little bit of a drift, and you can immediately see that delta snap into the red. Drifting may be fun, but it's certainly not, and there he goes, drifting off to that. It's certainly not the quickest way to get around a track. As we go back on board with Ryan Ludick here. And just trying to figure out the camera. Oh, he's actually bailed out of the lap. He must have made a mistake and then cut to the track, and that is essentially it. There is your starting grid. Nick Hodson, Brett Krukamp taking out the front row. Ryan Ludick is splitting up the Black House SimSports races, and then Ross Bartle coming in for P4, Mikhail Matthews P5. Next Black House SimSport racer is Sas van der Vestes in P6. We will be back shortly after this quick break with race 1. Don't go anywhere. Thanks everyone. We are back. The grid is currently forming up. 40 seconds left before the lights go green. Drivers starting to rev their engines. You can see the lineup here. Black House SimSports locking out that front row. Looking to see if Ryan Ludick or Mikhail Matthews can take the fight to these Black House SimSport drivers as the lights start to come on. We'll have 6 red lights. As soon as they're off, we'll be going. We're racing here. Nick Hodson, Brett Krukamp off to a good start there. Looks like the field is away cleanly, but T1 is on its way, and Brett Crocombe tucked in very closely behind Nick Hodson there. Ryan Ludick is up on the inside there, but it looks like he's needed to pile in safely, and Ross Bartle behind. So yeah, very good start by the entire field here. Only one position switching, I think, towards the back. Peter Caldenas has now just got past Thomas Trollope, sorry. As we see, all still very clean, just a little bit of side-by-side action. And into turn 4, Colasante corner, a little tire smoke there. Up the hill they go, into Echo Valley. Turn 5 here, and still a very clean field. I'm going to see if I can go on board here with someone around about P5. I think Mikhail Matthews will stick on his bumper and see side by side Ryan Ludick and Ross Bartle ahead of them. And I think coming up on his left, Mikhail Matthews shooting through Sas van der Veste, and that is a bold move. And in the background there, sorry, you saw Peter Caldenas just into the kitty litter. Unfortunately, Thomas Trollope also losing out of place to Ross Bartle. We're going to go back on board here with Mikhail Matthews. Look at the traffic behind in his rear windscreen. A lot of tyre smoke pouring off Sas van der Veste ahead of us. And Martin Groenewold's now in P8, just getting around Ross Bartle. Ross certainly seems to have, actually apologies, that is Roxanne Bartle. For some reason I thought Ross had a major slip up because I knew he was right up in the sharp end of the field there. P3, Roxanne doing very well to be in the top 10 right now. P9, however. The tower was not helping me out when it's not showing the full names. Speaking of Ross Bartle though, he is just lost out of position to Ryan Ludick, but it's more just a case of them being side by side. But Ryan Ludick has the inside line here. A little bit of a sideways tap there. Can Ross hold it? It looks like an amazing save there by Ross Bartle. And again in the background, is that Roxanne? No, it's Martin Groenewold doing the up into the kitty litter, and again, can he hold it? He's trying. Look at the wheel, the fighting that's going on. He's holding it, and he just loses that one more position to Daniel Haynes. And on his way again, but good job managing to keep it out of these sandbanks that can very easily spell a race over or a significant amount of damage. Requiring some tow back to the pits. Headlights on there for I think it's Hannes Kruger trying to hunt down Martin Groenewold and Daniel Haynes just ahead of him. We're going to hop back up quickly to Sas van der Veste, and we'll go on board with him here as he's trying to hunt down that coveted podium position for Ryan Ludick. Tire smoke pouring off the back of that pink and white Clio. Into the turn 10-11, the light bulb. Look how sideways Ryan Ludick's and ahead of him. It's Nick. That is Nick Hodson. He's made a mistake, and off he is. And he's lost out on significant positions and some more position shufflings across the field. Thomas Trollope has just lost out a couple of positions as now a threat by Peter Caldenas. It might even be a trio of positions he's lost here. I think he must have gone up into the kitty litter at some point. So yeah, lots of movements up and down the field here. We're going to hop back up the field to do a cloud of tyre smoke, but Mikhail Matthews will hit on board so we can see. Look at the rear view mirror. I think that's Nick Hodson looking to make a comeback. He's coming up on the right hand side. You saw it in the right hand mirrors. He's across the line. It is now a drag race down to T1. Look at the overlap. Look at the speed differential. He's got the inside line into turn 1 now, Hankson turn, and that pass is done nice and cleanly, and Mikhail Matthews has to slot in before turn 3 of Millstone. There's still, look at this top 6 bunch of cars here. They're all kind of close together. No one's really running away with it except for Brett Crocombe. He's about 3 seconds ahead of all this action down to Sas van der Veste. And if we had to stay with this TV camera for now, I was wondering if we would see the car of Sas van der Veste in the background. But it's just in frame there, as you see in the foreground. He's coming around the corner. So if we had to go on board the outside bumper cam here of Sas van der Veste, we might see Brett Crocombe off there in the distance on the horizon. But he's certainly got a lot of work to do to catch up to Brett. As we see Nick Hodson get around, ooh, wow. And sideways goes Ross Bartle. I think there may have been some slight contact there. As what I was saying is that Nick Hodson has got around Ryan Ludick, who we're on board with now. And looming in the mirrors, we see the red car of Mikhail Matthews. Ross Bartle getting past Roxanne. In fact, negative, it's the other way around. Roxanne, well done, past the brother of Ross Bartle. And I think that's just capitalizing on the mistake and slight contacts that we saw there. And it looks like Hannes Kruger is currently reporting as off track. And he's just righted the car now himself. And let's see, Dan Haynes is a second behind Willem Immelman. As they have a drag race down, we can see a nice camera shot of all the cars coming through. Down the main straight past the pit entrance. Camera car, the orange BMW sitting in the pits there. A number of drivers now putting in their fastest purple lap times as they settle down. We're going to head back up to Stats van der Vestes and look at this train. 4 cars here fighting for ultimately P2 positions. Head on off by Nick Hudson, followed by Stats van der Vestes, and the 2 Black House Sim Sports drivers, followed by the 2 non-Black House Sim Sports drivers, Ryan Ludick and Mikhail Matthews, looming in the mirrors. Let's see if we can go on board here with Ryan Ludick and just follow the action as they attempt to get around. This is the series of lefts, essentially, coming up after turn 6, valley of left. Tucked in right behind here, and Ludick is to Thas van der Vestes. Thas trying to run very defensively as far close to the circuit edge as he dares. Leaving a little bit of a door there snapping open, but there's not enough of a speed differential for Ryan Ludick to stick his nose in there just yet, and it would be a bit risky to do so as well without a massive speed overlap. One of the Bartles is dropping back down. I think it is Ross Bartle. He is having a struggle out there tonight, back down into P9 now, as he lost out a couple of positions to Daniel Haynes, and I think it is 2 positions lost to Willem Immelman as well. He seemed to go a little bit wide there in the final corner, just heading over now onto the main straight. And we're going to jump back to Ryan Ludick because he's reporting side by side with Thas van der Vestes. He's on the bumper. Look at how close that is. The smoke. Look at in the right hand side mirror, we see Mikhail Matthews' red car looming as well. A little bit of an overlap here. It's threatening. Ryan Ludick now looking to pull to the inside of the series of lefts, and he might actually have that done. We can see the camera angle. Oh, it's so tricky to tell, but I think he's slotted back in behind Thas van der Vestes and defending brilliantly. But look how close Mikhail Matthews is now as well to this fight. Let's go on board the bumper cam of Mikhail Matthews. The dash cam, just to get a sense of the closeness of it all. We're rounding up to the halfway point of this first race. Ooh, this sideways action here. Mikhail Matthews also running very wide, too wide in fact. He dips the wheel into the sand and he's lost a lot of momentum out there to Ryan Ludick ahead, who is now pulled up side by Stats van der Vestes, and Ryan is going to have the inside line, but is he far enough ahead? He looks like his nose is in front here, so if he manages to get his braking right for T1, but Stats van der Vestes slingshots around the outside and safeguards that position for now. Excellent stuff. No contact made either. And Ryan Ludick will need to fight on to pick another time to make an attack here. He's looking to the left again, but that's going to have to be around the outside here of turn 4. Not a good opportunity to do that right now at this point. And still he struggles and goes on. Well, I say struggling, he's doing an excellent job of keeping the pressure on, not making contact here either, as they go into the series of lefts. must say that Sats van der Westhuizen must be feeling the pressure. It's always more difficult to chase than it is to defend. And Mikhail Matthews is also closing up on these three. Or the two ahead, should I say, of these three. We are going to see if we can... let's see if there's a rear wing shot, shall we? There we go, looking back from Sats van der Westhuizen. As we see Ross Bartle get past Willem Immelman, who's actually dropping down a couple of positions, that's why. So I think there is potentially a mistake that happened there. Ryan Ludik, Sats van der Westhuizen. Ryan Ludik has passed Sass. And he's taken that third position, and it looks like Mikhail Matthews is slingshotting around the outside. It's going to... Oh, there's some contact. That looked like it was going to be a double overtake almost by Mikhail Matthews. Sats van der Westhuizen losing out there quite substantially as he goes to the back of these three. At one point a short while ago was leading the pack of three with Mikhail Matthews at the back, is now in front of the three. The pressure is still on here with Ryan Ludik essentially being that now sandwich in the middle yet again. Look at how close that is. I mean, that's got to be some bumper rubbing over there, but rubbing is racing. The three of these guys essentially super glued together. Hopefully not to do rubber banded together to come together with a collision. But it looks like they've fouled in line now, the three of them. So excellent racing, excellent job, the three of them, to keep everything pointed in the same direction. Little rubbing is racing. That's good to see. It looked fair from what I could tell. All above board. So great racing from these three as we see Sats van der Westhuizen get a little bit wide over there. Big puffs of smoke. Sand rather. Not smoke. That was from the edges of the track, not tire smoke. And we're going to hip down to Willem Immelman just to see what's putting on from him. We know he was further up the field and he made a mistake, I think, to lose a couple of positions out to the drivers ahead. Now he's looking to bring the attack back to Peter Geldenes in the silver and blue clear ahead of him. Down the main straight they go. I'm curious to see the top speed in the bottom right hand corner. 165, 7, 8, 9, 170, 180. I think it is exactly 180. And there's a little bit more actually. Found another gear. 185, 187, 189, 190. Can he hit 200? Josh. Ah, no, he's made it. Yo. 205, it looked like he topped out there. So, oh, and a healthy cutting of corner over there as well. I say healthy because I think he managed to keep two tires inside, which is the requirement to avoid a track cut penalty being issued automatically by the game. Some title, should we say? So yeah, looking for some good pace here. Willem Immelman, his best lap time was a 148.19. And looking at Peter Geldenes ahead of him, his best lap's a 147.7. So no slouch here. Peter's naturally faster on a best lap day. Willem Immelman will have his work cut out for him if he wants to try and take the fight. Peter Geldenes is going to need to dig deep for some nice, clean, consistent laps. And a little bit further down the field here, you can see the gap on the track map in the bottom left-hand side of your corner. Currently in P12, Francois Bernardi. Ooh, I'm going to quickly jump back up to Peter Geldenes. He's had an off, unfortunately. Hopefully that wasn't some contact involved, but that's allowed Willem Immelman to get past. Just as we cut away, what is the luck? And back up to the sharp end of the field here, we're looking at Brett Kirkhope, who's just put in a fastest lap of the race. And that was a 145.707. The track grip, obviously, as I mentioned in the beginning of the circuit, look, that was a good corner cut. You see a little bit of a tire jutting out of that corner, and he must have kissed the edge of that tire. And yeah, he's put in a 145.707. The track grip currently reporting as green now. 95%. I'm expecting that to flick over to fast perhaps when we hit around about the 97% marker. It's only really going to start hitting optimal from 98% and above. track now. It's actually just dipped down to slow 95%. So some interesting conditions on this dynamic track surface here. With just under 5 minutes left of this race. P10 right now is being held by Willem Immelman. I don't think it's under threat with Peter Kaldenes off from earlier. Reporting 12 seconds behind. This is a back marker in front of Willem Immelman. It's not for position. And in race 2, if Willem Immelman manages to maintain the position, he will be starting in pole position in race 2, as the top 10 are going to get reversed as he gets around that back marker of, I think that's Daniel Guzman. And we also see Francois Bernardi now getting around Martin Groenewald. That is for position. Martin Groenewald, it seems, I want to say, out of position here. He's normally a little bit quicker. See if I can, apologies while I skip through the camera angles here. There we go. Peter Kaldenes is meanwhile back up past Willem Immelman, but here we are on board with Hannes Kruger now. And Ryan Ludik and Mikhail Matthews are swapping positions. This has just happened in front of you. Ryan Ludik has taken P3 away from Mikhail Matthews, and in the background there we're seeing running a little bit wide against Sas van der Westhuizen. Still, these three seem to be relatively close together with 3 minutes left in this race. A couple of laps only. I'm sure the fuel must be running out very nearly. Hopefully they haven't underfueled. We see the Bartle swap position. That is Ross Bartle getting ahead. Oh, as I say that, he's off track again. Ross is really struggling out there tonight, and Roxanne Bartle goes through and retains that E6 position. Nick Hudson, meanwhile, has caught up to Brett Krockamp here. This is challenging for P1 in the race. 2 minutes 42, and this is the title fight here. Nick obviously looking to bank some more points onto his standings. Brett looking to catch up to Nick in the overall title fight. A drag race down the straight here. Nick's got a good amount of slipstream. Look at that gap closing. He's going to swing out to the left now. Brett will know he needed to have hugged that inside line to force Nick around the outside of turn 1. I don't think there's going to be enough of an overlap. In fact, there is. Nope, there isn't. Apologies. Nick Hodson is still behind Brett Krockamp. There was a slight little bit of an overlap, and the tower had reflected that they were swapping positions, but that must have just been a little bit of a side-by-side. In fact, they're side-by-side yet again, so who's going to have the inside line here? Nick Hodson's technically got his nose in front, according to the tower, but Brett Krockamp is on the inside, so it's anyone's guess right now, and the camera angle's not doing us justice, but it still seems they're side-by-side. Nick Hodson inching past. I wonder if there was contact there as the camera cuts away to a different line, and we saw Nick had to cut the corner there, but I think managed just to keep 2 wheels on the grass. Meanwhile, Mikhail Matthews, this trio again, argy-bargy, a little bit of sass, rubbing onto Mikhail Matthews there, Ryan Ludik in front, but this title fight here, Brett Krockamp and Nick Hodson. Ooh, Nick's managed to open that gap a little now, or rather that gap has opened. I don't know where to look. Mikhail Matthews is in front now of this 3. Sas van der Westhuizen. Actually, no, he's in the middle. Where's Ryan Ludik? He's not even in camera frame right now. These two seem to have fallen back, but they're side by side. And squiggly Mikhail Matthews behind Sas van der Westhuizen as the Bartle swap position, and that's Roxanne taking the fight to her brother Ross Bartle. And there we go. Okay, the 3 of them have slipped into formation here. Let's go and look at what's happening on with the Bartle siblings. Ross currently leading. Where is Roxanne Bartle? She's knocked off the oh no, Roxanne in the bushes. That was unfortunate. I was wondering what happened. We obviously missed the off-track excursion. Hopefully no contact there. She manages to pull back on track, I think, in front of Willem Immelman. And the clock has hit 0. So is Brett Krugkamp. He is going to be crossing the line. Or no, he's still on the final lap. This is the final lap of the race now. The clock must have hit 0 just after he passed the finish line. Into turn 5 now, so this is the last dash effort. Sasfin de Vestes, and meanwhile, oh, is Mikhail Matthews off in the background. Hoping that was not collision based. Nick Hodgson then still behind Brett Krugkamp, looking to effect some sort of an overtake here. Will there be any last lap desperate attempts? We see Brett getting a little wide there. A lot of tyre smoke pouring off the back wheels as he tries to keep it under control. Nick looking for a swing around the outside, but Brett Krugkamp manages to cut across the front of Nick there, just preventing any sort of dive into the corner. Hogging in the middle of the road here, pulling now to the side of the road. Nick's got a massive overlap into the final corner, T12, but Brett has the inside line. Who will have the better run up to the finish? It's going to be the finish line. There's the bridge gantry. Who's it going to be? Brett manages to keep it. That was photo finish if you ever saw one. Brett Krugkamp, Nick Hodgson taking P2, Ryan Luddick has crossed the line as well, taking the final podium position. Great job there. It was a lovely fight to see across the race as well, with Mikhail Matthews, Sasfin de Vestes, and Muzic dropped down to fixed position. I wonder if that's where he finished. Ross Barkle going across the line as well in P5. Thomas Trollope, P7. Whoa, that was race 1, ladies and gents. And we are about to head to a top 10 reversal. So I'm just looking at P10 here, according to the tower board. It looks like Roxanne Barkle, despite having a little bit of a final off in the bushes, she's going to claim pole position for race 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in approximately a couple minutes. We'll have race 2. Alright, we are back and in the final stages of the interim break between race 1 and race 2. Drivers will be in the pits essentially sorting out their last minute adjustments ahead of race 2. No doubt they would have learned something perhaps from race 1 in terms of their setup. They may want to make some final tweaks, perhaps just some tire pressures or suspension travels. A little bit of fuel calculation changes. Perhaps they realize that they may have overfilled by a significant margin and can drop a couple kilos. And the track grip as well, we can see, has improved to 96%. I'm wondering if we'll see getting up to optimal, which I think is around that 98% marker by the start of race 2. We'll have to see. Not the start of race 2, but certainly by somewhere in the middle or end. Here we go. Final countdown. We've got a minute until the start of race 2 now. The grid will be forming very shortly. A good opportunity to inform anyone who would like to take part in the racing tonight. You're very welcome to join us. We have an infinite amount of slots available thanks to simracing.gp and Hydro Rubber Waterproof Coating, who are sponsoring our service at the moment, along with our other coveted and very thankful for them, our fuel providers, fuel donators, scrolling through in the top right hand corner of your screen as well. And it's all self-service. You can pop onto our Discord server. I'll paste the link in chat. It's also otherwise simracesa.co.za. Just looking at some of the chatter coming out of Div2 here, it looks like Dirk Brand and Sheldon Stunder chatting about potentially running out of fuel, so someone got the calculation wrong there. And, yeah, hopefully they take note ahead of race 2 now starting. Got about 40 seconds left on the clock. And incoming onto chat will be your Discord invite link if you're looking to join us. The best way to do it. We have 6 lights. Up we go red. Roxanne Bartle did indeed start in pole position, followed by Peter Caldenes. It looks like up in P2 position. That P3 position I think might be Dan Haynes. So we're going to have to see. Oh, it's such a flurry of cars here trying to keep track of what's going on. We're going to go on board with Daniel Haynes here in P5 just to see if we can see what's happening with the leaders up in front. Ross Bartle's in the mix there as well as the people when he gets a side tap with Peter Caldenes. Thomas Trollope, I think, there's a little bit of an innocent bystander there as well. Mikhail Matthews manages to get through. So a little bit of a scrappy start here in race 2. But the rest of the majority of the field seem to be on their way through. Going to clean up some of the links in Discord for you guys. The Discord link, should I say. There we go. Alright, now the dust has settled. It looks like it's Team Bartle up in front. We have Ross Bartle, followed by his sister Roxanne Bartle in P2. Peter Caldenes thundering down this main straight here. Nick Hodson is managing to get past Mikhail Matthews, although he will have the inside line into T1. Let's see if we can go on board here. Oh, he's lost the late breakers as he cuts out Nick Hodson. He was forced to slip into P5 behind him. And very wide is Peter Caldenes, and that's going to be an easy pass in the end for Mikhail Matthews, and I imagine about 3-4 other people as he regains the track here. Lots of shufflings up and down the field. It looks like Ryan Ludick is capitalizing on potentially some mistakes of some others. Sas van der Westhuizen is also making his way through the field. Oh, he's going very slowly there for a second. Unless it was just the transition, but we have in the mirrors Peter Caldenes looming. Mikhail Matthews reportedly losing out on 2 places to both Brett Kirkhamp and Nick Hudson ahead of him. And meanwhile, further down the field, Francois Bernardi has gotten around Hannes Kruger. Turn 3, final corner, onto the main straight we go with the fields. The bumper cam of Mikhail Matthews as we see Willem Immelman get around Dan Haynes, and as we say that Ryan Ludwig get across the both of them. Let's see if we can hop down to what's going on there. I think it was a good drag race down to the finish, but there was a lot of cars that have dropped off. We've had a leader change as well, by the looks of it. Oh, it's actually just for P2, 3 and 4. Oh, wow, guys, Black House Sim Sports cars darting around trying to keep it under control on the track. And Roxanne Bottle has slipped down to P4 position now as we see Mikhail Matthews get around Roxanne Bottle. He's side by side, trying to look for that inside line, and I think he's safely made the pass stick. We go into Echo Valley. It's a little U-shaped corner before the series of lefts, the valley of lefts. Kruger is around Martin Kronevold. And Francois Bernardi is at the back of this trio. As Kruger actually managed to retake that position for P9. Oh, and up in the background there, I think is Francois Bernardi. Yeah, we just saw the tail end of it. I think he was just losing. Oh, watch the rejoin there. Francois manages to keep out of trouble. No contact made, thankfully. Martin Kronevold around Hannes Kruger. And let's see what's happening back up on the sharp end of the field here. Ross Bartle is currently in P1 and got quite a bit of a gap here to P2. Nick Hudson, who's trying to fight off teammate Brett Kirkhamp behind him. And Mikhail Matthews as well, looking for that podium position finish. But the interesting lines followed by some of those cars. There's some straddling that tire wall, some just keeping safely on the inside of it. That's when Investigators is reporting that he's gotten past Roxanne Barton for P5. Go on board here with Ryan Ludwig, who is 0.1 seconds behind Peter Caldenes, looking to take the fight to him into turn 9. The valley of the left starts. It looks like he has that inside line. Into the first of the right hand corners, turn 10 and 11 is the light bulb. And that is a good clean pass there. Ryan Ludwig across Peter Caldenes. Matthews now going to go on board E4 up to the dash cam, looking onto Brett Kirkhamp ahead, which is the podium position. P3. Brett goes defensive up the inside. Mikhail's got a big amount of speed, but it's not enough to slingshot around the outside. Into turn 2. Brakes are on quite early, I would dare say, for Mikhail Matthews there into P3. A little bit conservative there. Just biding his time, not wanting to run into the back of Brett Crowcamp here, as he still affects a great amount of differential in speed. Turn 4, Conosante corner. Brett's still sort of hogging that defensive inside line, but it's opened up a smidgen of a gap, but Mikhail has to back out of it into turn 5. Turn 6 they now go. There's a little bit of a kink, and it's the first of the left-handers. Look at the valley of the left. Big puffs of smoke as they sail through. Let's bottle a good 3 seconds ahead. Reporting as I switch, Ryan Ludick was reporting a loss in position to Peter Caldenes, and notice a significant gap now. I suspect there is a mistake or an off track at the very least by Ryan Ludick here. I'm going to hop back to the closest battle on track right now is Mikhail Matthews, the .4. As we see Dan Haynes get past Willem Immelman, as is Francois Bernardi. That's an off track, I'm sure, by Willem Immelman. We're going to go on deck here with Mikhail Matthews as he looks to get round turn 1. He's got the upper hand here, the inside line of turn 1 onto Brett Crowcamp. With the speed as they rocket their way through here. Brett trying to see if he can sneak his car into the inside of turn 2. Turn 3, Millstone turn they go. On board now again with Brett Crowcamp, who's behind Mikhail Matthews, looking to see if he can come back at him. Mikhail Matthews nicely holding that inside line, not leaving Brett any room for any sort of insights. Thomas Trollope, meanwhile, in P11 has gotten around P12 Daniel Guzman. We will stick on board with these two for now as they go through the valley of the lefts. A little bit of a correction required there by Brett Crowcamp. He still manages to do a little bit of a lock up of the brakes there. I think just trying not to go into the back of Mikhail Matthews. Both puffs of smoke now. Now heading into the final corner, T13. It'll be a drag race to the finish after this short little east straight. Turn 12 is now turn 13. Aaron's turn comes up quickly. And it's the drag race. Martin Groeneveld, meanwhile, P8 past Ryan Ludick. Sass van der Westhuizen is reporting off track. What's happened to Sass there? You can see that just struggling for traction to get out of that kitty Litzer. But Mikhail Matthews. Nick Hodson is pulling out for the move. Kyle will have the inside line here still, so it's going to make it really hard work for Nick Hodson, but he's sticking with it. Apologies, this is all with Brett Crowcamp. It's so difficult to distinguish the Blackout Sim Sports drivers. Mikhail Matthews has gotten off second best there to Brett Crowcamp for the time being. Need the Blackout Sim Sports drivers to paint their car wing mirrors some different colors, perhaps. Just to be able to distinguish who's who. Thomas Trollope, let's have a look at him. In P10, passing Hannes Kruger now, slotting into P11. A good amount of rear lock up there, it seemed. That wheel almost looked pretty solid. another position change here. Ryan Ludick and Martin Groenewald continue that fight. Daniel Guzman, meanwhile, and Willem Emelman swapping positions, as is Martin Groenewald, side by side now with Ryan Ludick. In this battle here, turning into T12 to 13. This might be an epic drag race up the finish if Ryan can get... Oh, he's very sideways. He's also tapped Martin Groenewald, both managing to keep it going. Not quite. Ryan Ludick came off second best there. He's struggling for grip just to get back out onto track, and I think he was trying desperately to get out of the racing line there, is why he cut across so much. And that's allowed a couple of cars to sail past Cesc van der Vestes, and meanwhile as Peter Goldness is off track, we can see it in the background there. Pete struggling to get out of the PT litter as well. So Cesc is claiming P6 now in this race with 6.5 minutes left. Kyle Matthews and Brett Kirkham still at it here. This is the battle for the final podium position. Ooh, quite wide there as Mikhail Matthews chucks it in. Turn 9, turn 11, and 10 and 11. The light bulb, now they go. Have a quick look on board here and see if Mikhail Matthews can close that gap. I know he's going to want to be really close to Brett come T12, certainly T13 final corner, so that he can get a nice slipstream up the main straight here, past the pits. But I don't think he's close enough now to make any sort of impact on this particular lap. Going to be quite a few more, so maybe 3 laps in it before the end of the race. As we've seen Nick Hodgson put in the fastest lap of the race so far, with the track grip up to 98% and fast now. That was reporting his last lap. Nick, there we go, his best lap 144.207. Stas's get his 144.928 is his best lap of the race so far. Yes, again here, the top 2 Black House Sim Sports drivers in this race, Nick Hodgson and Ross Bartle, looking to fight each other. Hannes Kruger and Daniel Haynes both getting past Ryan Ludick, who is slotted back 2 positions into P12. Not entirely sure what caused the loss of positions there, but it's placed him under attack now by Daniel Guzman behind him, who's pulled out alongside and looking to take that inside line up into turn 1, and he does manage to slingshot around. So Ryan Ludick, I think, ultimately lost out in 3 positions there. Must have been some form of mistake. But he's all over the back of Ryan Guzman right now. If we in fact go on board, you may even see a counter-attack move here. Daniel Guzman just looking to defend, but he doesn't have the inside line here into T4. And I think that is going to be a pass by Ryan Ludick if he can make it stick. It looks certainly to be safe as they head into T5. That is indeed a good move back up a position, Ryan Ludick. Nick Hodgson, is the drag race done for the provisional leader of this race here? Nick will have the inside line to T1. The speed looks pretty evenly matched for this drag race. And there, I think it is going to be Nick Hodgson slingshotting around. Ooh, a little dip in the sand though, and that's going to allow Ross Bartle to get back at him. There's a little bit of a bumper action here, front bumper of Nick Hodgson onto the rear of Ross Bartle, but they both managed to just keep going, and I think just because of that little dip into the sand, Ross Bartle's managed to regain that P1 position. On board here with Ross Bartle in the lead, you can see Nick Hodgson in the mirrors, looming right, looming mid into the series of lefts we're about to go. There's 3 minutes left in this race here. Having a look at Ryan Ludick down the field here. This is the battle for P10. He is tucked in behind Hannes Kruger, who runs wide and goes drifting on the sand, and follows him does Daniel Guzman as well, and that's going to gift some positions out to Ryan Ludick and Daniel Haynes above. We're going to jump back up to our leadership battle here. Ross Bartle still ahead of Nick Hodgson. 2.5 minutes left. There's enough for 2 laps in it, I think. The penultimate lap. Another drag race down the main straight, but is there enough of an overlap here? The helicopter cam is going to show us that Nick is going to take that position away from Ross Bartle. Seemingly made it quite easy this time. But perhaps just had enough of a slipstream down the main straight and was able to capitalize into the braking zone. For now, certainly this pass seems to be safely banked by Nick Hudson. He's still got quite a lot of work to do though. At least another lap to come. Anything can happen with both drivers on the limits. Not likely to make mistakes, these guys, but when you're under pressure, your lines are going to be altered somewhat. Just a fraction of a wheel into the sand might be all it takes. Sas van der Westhuizen, meanwhile, is looking to gain a position up on Roxanne Bartle ahead, using P5. Look at the track conditions on the top right. I did wonder if we were going to hit optimum before the end of the final race tonight, and we have indeed. 99% now track grip. So very much a dynamic trip across the track grip across the series of racing tonight. Thought start out from a very, very, very green 90%. So we've gotten all the way almost practically to 100% optimal grip right now. So guys are going to be feeling that very immediately in the wheel compared to the start of the race. I'm going to have a lot more confidence going into the corners, chucking it in. Might see some moves here at the death. As we're saying, quickly have a look at where's Ross Bartle to Nick Hudson. It's a 0.9, it's a second down almost. Ooh, there's a big cut there by Ross Bartle. That's not going to help his situation. Losing time just going into the sand there. Roxanne Bartle clocks in their fastest lap of the race, so 146.429. She is side by side with Sas van der Westhuizen, who has the inside line for these next consecutive corners, turn 1 and 2. Oh, and running wide does Roxanne, apologies, and that's going to be the ticket signed and stamped by Sas as he manages to sail past. Thomas Trollope, meanwhile, also doing his fastest lap of the race at 145.576. All these guys and girls are going to be doing faster laps now with the grip level continuing to be as optimal as you can practically get. It does look like now with Nick Hudson, he is on the final lap of the race. This is turn 10 or 11. He's running the final corners. I don't think Ross Bartle is anywhere close enough to make an impact now at this late stage. He's not close enough for any sort of dives into the final corners, nor a drag race up the main straight. So dare I say, this is Nick's race to have taken. As he rounds the final corner now, up to the main straight. He will stick with them as he heads towards the line. He takes those honors for race 2. Across the line, you see Ross Bartle take P2 and Brett Crocomp in the background as well, just ahead of Mikhail Matthews, who misses out on that final podium position. But a great outcome there for a triple whammy, rounding out the podium for Black Isle Sim Sports. And that is a good race. Sas van der Westhuizen coming home across the line now for P5, followed by Roxanne Bartle in P6. A good showing. Peter Geldnes out in P7, a good drive from Peter. I think better result than he had in P1. Thomas Trollope rounding out P8, landed P9. Martin Quinnevold will be rounding out your P10 position. That is safety bank for your top 10 drivers this evening. Daniel Haynes, Daniel Guzman, Willem Immelman, all rounding the final corners now. In frame, Hannes Kruger is about to round the final corner now. And rounding out the pack tonight, P15 position, Francois Bernardi. He will be crossing the line as we speak for a very quick lap. It will be his fastest lap. Little flash of the lights there. Satisfied with his drive. It's good fun out there regardless. good showing out there tonight by Francois. And that is it, ladies and gents. That is Bridgehampton done and dusted, as the sand quite literally will say. Thank you very much to everyone for tuning in tonight live. Thank you to everyone who's going to be watching and supporting the VOD after the race as well, and future days to come. And, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao for now.